Okay, good evening, good morning, good night. My name is Kirk Kerber, and I had a request. Kirk, what's your top 25 psychic spiritual resources? So we're going live on the Instagram, and we're making a video over here for the YouTube. And I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. Let's get to it, man. You know, it's fast, it's furious, it's raw, it's uncut. I'm waking up. This is not my best hour, and that's okay. Having a little coffee. I did my morning meditation, affirmation, contemplation, and this is the magic clipboard here. So here we go. My top 25 plus resources. Psychic and spiritual with tarot as well. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kirk Kerber. For the last 40 years, I have studied magic, metaphysics, mysticism, and magic. Did I say magic? I've had a late night cable TV show over the last 20 years. I've produced over 700 TV shows on spirituality, supernatural, spiritual, mystical, magical content dedicated to your expansion. So it says we're live. We're live. Okay. So it's just us real shaman over here. So the first thing that we're going to do when we open up the sacred love circle portal, okay? We're going to put some energetic love, light, healing, magic, and miracles into the collective soul of planet Earth. Now, if I have my druthers and I have my way, I think I'm going to start maybe a 40-day daily live meditation on healing the collective soul of planet Earth. And I just had an interview with Paul Sifu Bogey Brighton yesterday. The interview's on YouTube, and we were talking about, putting energy and love and light into the collective soul. And they did an experiment in Washington State, I guess, where they got 2,000 people to pray and meditate for a week, and the crime rate dropped by 25%. So I think we should do something like that. Somebody called Deepak. Okay, we can get Deepak, maybe Oprah. She's probably not busy. She'll do it. And Ileana, I don't know, Michael Beckworth, like all the powerhouses. Abraham Hicks. So the first thing we're going to do is just light a little bit of white sage, a little bit, to open the sacred psychic portal of love in the collective consciousness for love, light, protection, Shakti, Namaste, Pentacle, which is not evil. No. It's the sign of protection. But you can also do the cross. And you can say, in the name of your favorite deity, gods, goddesses, all paths lead to the divine. So you now just got a free healing Shakti, Namaste, smudging. Okay, so I made the list. There's over 25 psychic spiritual resources because people asked me to do this. So what I want you to do on the YouTube video, I'm going to write everything down in the description. So I just want you to listen. So don't try to write everything down. I don't like it when I go on YouTube and they play music and they don't tell you what it is. And then you're like, God, that's such great music. And now you're digging for it. And, they list these albums, 25 greatest hits of some music artist. And then they don't list them down, in the description. And it's maddening. So I'm not going to do that to you. So first of all, but we're going to go through it pretty quick. So did I introduce myself? My name's Kirk Kerber. I'm an initiated shamanic healer. I'm a I'm a trauma therapist, certified in 4 different types of trauma recovery, with a special focus on PTSD. And I've been studying metaphysics. I think I said that part. I've been studying metaphysics and magic. I have produced and hosted over 700 TV shows for your benefit. Shakti, you're getting lots of love in Shakti. And I'm also a natural born psychic medium with all spiritual psychic gifts. And, you know, my life doesn't really belong to me. God made me a certain way, and I was born with spiritual gifts, and I rose to the challenge. And so part of this list is, you know, you can walk in with raw intuitive talent, and, you know, intuition and psychic ability goes on a continuum. So there's no person that has no psychic ability or intuition. And then you go up to middle, moderate, a little bit. Some people, they had it beaten out of them, or they forgot it. I hear a lot of stories about people that are like, I was psychic, I was seeing ghosts, I was seeing angels, and the adults around me talked me out of it. Or they beat it out of me, because Jesus said so. So I don't know. If that happened to you, I'm truly, absolutely sorry. We now need you to come back and own those psychic spiritual gifts. So, yeah, everybody has intuition and psychic ability, but not everybody has the gifts of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizant knowing, and even the ability to smell energies. So I was given those gifts, and I was given the raw talent, and I also started meditating when I was 12 years old, so I'm basically in a constant state of a trance for my clients, and there's over 400 hours of free content online across all social media. I think that's the basic intro. So let's get to it. So first of all, I'm 12 years old. My dad is a natural mentor, and he starts putting these law of attraction books under my pillow. And I wake up and I find Think and Grow Rich, you know what I mean? Under my pillow. And no note, nothing. And I'm like, that's kind of like cool and weird. Like you wake up and there's a book under your pillow. Like the book fairy just delivered something. So my first 3 books are law of attraction books. That's what I was reading when I was in my teens, 12, 13, 15 years old. And the top place to start for law of attraction stuff is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, The Richest Man in Babylon by Ogmandino, and The Magic of Thinking Big, who I can't really remember, wrote it. And all 3 of these are going to be readily available either on Amazon, maybe even on YouTube as free books. You can get a lot of books on YouTube, like literally 3 hours of the entire book, an audiobook, completely free. And I imagine that all 3 of these are on YouTube. Then you also have the one that's kind of a total top secret, and this is also on YouTube. It's called The Little Red Book That Makes Your Dreams Come True. And it's about 45 minutes long. And I promise and guarantee if you listen to that just once, 40 days in a row, you will absolutely have your attraction, magic, law of attraction, vision board, just sent into the stratosphere. The next one, so I don't have copies of those in my house, but yep, you can get it all on YouTube. So we go Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Richest Man in Babylon, and The Magic of Thinking Big, and also The Little Red Book That Makes Your Dreams Come True by Anonymous. Nobody knows who wrote that book. And then we come to some books which I actually have in the house. So let's start off with... we're going to continue with creation, attraction, magic, power, supernatural power. And the first one is, the Superbeings. This is John Randolph Price. This is one of the best kept secrets. on the entire universe, in the entire universe, and I couldn't recommend this book enough. Hi, Kenny. Good to see you on the live stream. We're just talking about, hang on. We're just talking about my top 25 resources, psychic and spiritual. So here's this one, The Superbeings by John Randolph Price. And on page 19, you're going to go into the 12 phases, if you can see that, 12 phases, the 12 phases of development. And it goes all up to like just being full master creator, master of the universe. And it is really an apt description. I think this book, John Randolph Price passed away about 15 years ago, but I think this book is finally going to come into its own. I couldn't recommend it enough. It showed up on the sidewalk. Books just appear out of nowhere for me. It showed up on the sidewalk. People like throw away books and they put them on the sidewalk in New York City, and then other people pick them up. And so Midtown Manhattan is like this huge library. Anyway, so Superbeings. The next one, which also appeared twice on the street, and this is a copy that was somebody else's. I'm walking down the street and it appears. I read the book. I'm like, man, this is amazing. And I let the book go. I give it all. A lot of my books just gave them away. I didn't have the space. And then this book showed up again. So this is book number 2. And this book is really like a Christian base. It's called The Game of Life by Florence Scoville. She wrote it in the 40s. So she was really like a total maverick. She was like one of the first female new age, hey, here's what's going on. This is how you do law of attraction. And it's Christian based. And she talks about, the gifts of the spirit and, asking for divine right action. Florence Scoville, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it's on YouTube for free as well. So I really recommend that. And the universe wanted me to have this because it brought it to me twice for free. So I keep that one hanging around. Let's see. Okay, Superbeings, yes. Game of Life, yes. 50 Ways to See Through People. Now this one's going to be kind of obscure. I don't think 50 Ways to See Through People by Vernon Howard. And I don't know where I got this book. I have no idea. I must have bought it at some bookstore downtown, maybe. Some esoterico. I checked, and on Amazon it's $27. And the book is small, and it's only 38 pages long. But I really recommend it. It's one of my go-tos. When I'm confused, when I don't know what's going on, I come to this book. So I really recommend it. I don't know if you can find it maybe used or something. It's a pretty rare book. Vernon Howard is a unique teacher who has broken through to another world. He sees through the illusion of suffering and fear and loneliness. He lives and teaches in Boulder City. Maybe we'll get like an interview with him. That would be pretty cool. Okay. That's Vernon Howard. The next one is the Spartans. Okay. So this also involves your way of being in the world, your way of thinking, your energy, your mind, your body, and your aura, and it's Spartan Discipline. This book you can read it a couple times, and it's by Dominic Mann. You can probably find it anywhere on Amazon, maybe even YouTube for free. Spartan Discipline, it just speaks about, when you don't really know what you're doing and you need discipline, it speaks mainly about discipline. To just whatever is essential, just go back to the essentials. And, you'll come back to your center and you'll find a new strength and power and love and light inside of you. Spartan Discipline. Okay. The next one I don't have a copy of. It's from Louise Hay, and the book came to me in my 20s, and it's basically Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, and that was her first big book, her first big seller. And basically, it tells you like body parts, the liver holds anger, the eyes are the vision. I can't think of everything right now. The arms carry things, obviously. But then she talks about it in a metaphysical way, and she tells you how to heal your body with affirmations and contemplations on your body. So that's number 8. Louise Hay, Heal Your Body. Okay, the next one is a psychic resource that I use for meditation and in my spiritual practice. It's by Deepak Chopra, and it's specifically the chakras, balancing your mind, body, and soul. That's also on YouTube, probably free. I bought it, and I really like it, and it's also one of my go-tos. Deepak has these 2-3-minute affirmations. One of them is, I banish disease from your eyes. I banish disease from your nose. I banish disease from your hands. And Deepak goes through your entire body and banishes all your disease. Shakti Namaste. I really like it. And I like Deepak's voice. And it's kind of funny the way he does it, And then he's very calm. It just is a very well produced meditation on the chakras and balancing and becoming disease-free. The next one, Secrets of Shamanism. Okay, here's another book that jumped right off the shelf. Yep, I was in Barnes & Noble in Midtown West. Secrets of Shamanism by Jose Stevens, PhD, and Lena S. Stevens. I'm just kicking around one day, it was in the summer, and I end up in a Barnes and Noble, and I feel like I'm being guided. What's going on? I just allow the day to happen, and I end up in this Barnes and Noble in this obscure part, and all of a sudden this book just goes bing and falls right off the shelf, right in front of me. Yep, so when the universe wants you to know something, you will know it. This is really about being a shaman. I'm an interdimensional shaman, and it's the secrets of shamanism. And this is just really a great book. If you only have one book on shamanism, stepping out of time, connecting to the weather, it would be this book. Okay. The next book for like a shaman medicine person would be the Ted Andrews Animal Speak. So I've had this book probably 30 years. I got really lucky, I think this guy was like really the first person to do a book like on pure animal shaman, animal medicine, power animals. And I don't know when it was published, but I really recommend this book. I've kept it hanging out in my house for 30 years, and this is a great reference guide, And start reading about the animals, then you're going to understand and see animals in a completely different light. And animals have helped me my entire life. And then I'm like, what does that mean? What's the significance? What's my power animal? Okay, Ted Andrews, Animal Speak. Then we go to your psyche, your soul, and your own personal healing. There's 3 books by Robert Johnson. This is kind of came after the success of his other first books called He and She. Robert Johnson. There you go. Okay, so this one is Understanding and Owning Your Shadow. And this is about shadow work, owning the dark parts of ourselves, owning our darkness completely, seeing that there's a healthy darkness, and not letting the darkness control you and become a saboteur. So understanding the dark side of the psyche. So Robert Johnson is, I think, psychologist, psychiatrist, and he wrote a book called He. It was so successful. Then he wrote She, and all three of these would be on Amazon, maybe even little blurbs on YouTube for these. Robert Johnson, Understanding Your Shadow, He and She. So understanding the male aspects of our psychology, psychiatry, psyche. Also understanding the female parts of our psyches and souls. Okay, got Robert Johnson, 14. So here's a book that's doesn't really fit into classic spiritual psychic resources, but it's Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. And I read this book in my 20s, and this is one of my top books. This is actually an original printing. This is a first printing publication. It's probably worth a fortune. I don't take it out that much because I don't want it to get used. I gave my other Interview with a Vampire book that was signed by Anne Rice to a friend. But here it is. And so why Interview with a Vampire? Because Interview with a Vampire, it's a true love story about these two guys and a guy that's kind of like a psychopath, and then Louis and Lestat. And Lestat is a complete psychopath, but he falls in love with this empath, really, is what the story is. And Louis is very gentle and genteel. And if you saw the movie was really terrible and horrible. It was Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. I mean, and it didn't really live up to the book. And Anne Rice did not want Tom Cruise to be in the movie. And he pushed his way into the movie and just, like a true psychopath that Tom probably is as well. He just co-opted the film and was like, that's my vehicle. And he looked really out of place and bad. But when Louis starts to become a vampire, he explains like this psychic transformation that starts taking place. So this really, before there was any real psychic books out, this was kind of like a story of intense transformation into your spidey sense, your psychic sense. So that really formed me. Okay, next one. I've only had this about 7 years. It's How to Hypnotize Anybody. Confessions of a Rogue Hypnotist by the Rogue Hypnotist. And so I'm certified in 4 types of trauma recovery, 4 types of therapeutic hypnosis, as well as rapid induction. So if you're not careful, you better look out. Shocked into Namaste. You're going to get hypnotized right now by me instantly. Confessions of a Rogue Hypnotist. How to Hypnotize Anybody, Anywhere. This is, I think it's on Amazon. 16. The next one is, I don't have a copy or anything to hold up. It's Anthony Jacquin, Reality is Plastic. It's another book about hypnotism. And Anthony Jacquin is he's a British hypnotist, and he's versed. His father was a hypnotist. Then his father taught him all the secrets of hypnotism, and now he's kind of like a modern hypnotist. He used to do rogue street hypnotism, and he has videos on YouTube. So I would definitely check out Reality is Plastic. And he talks about how reality is really flexible, and that, once you get into somebody's mind, you can heal them. And, so he's really expanded, and he does seminars, and you can buy some of his videos on his website. Jacquin, Jacquin. Anthony Jacquin, Reality is Plastic. The next one, I don't have anything to hold up. It's David McGraw, And you can find David McGraw on YouTube, although he used to have like 20 videos on YouTube. He's a hypnotist. I really like David McGraw's voice. Hello, this is David McGraw. And so I did download some of David's stuff before he took it down. And so I think he just put everything on his website to try and like get a paid gig on it. But definitely David McGraw would be one of my top hypnotist people, resources, guys, as well as Dan Jones. So I took the like 3-month video course from Dan Jones on Ericksonian hypnosis. So I definitely recommend Dan Jones. He's also a British hypnotist and very helpful and very service oriented. Another class and certification I did, which I would recommend, is take a face reading class. So I took the face reading class with a woman named Joy Phoenix, and she could be found on Udemy. It's an app, and you sign up and you take the course and you get certified. So that's 20. Face reading with Joy Phoenix. And I loved that course. It was a lot of fun, and she was drunk halfway through it. She would like bring a Boda bag and be like, oh, we're feeling good. And everything she said, you have a strong jaw. So like leaders are really born. A person with a strong jaw, just one thing, is a natural leader. How are we doing over there, Instagram? Okay. Number 21, the Kybalion. And this is the book of Hermetic wisdom. This is also a book that jumped off the shelf. Like, my spirit guides, I was in Key West. There was this bookstore. And my spirit guides were like, go in that bookstore. Okay. And they brought me right to this book. This is about Hermetic wisdom and alchemy. It's called the Kybalion. And anybody that wants sacred text, this is the one to get. Definitely. Hermetic wisdom. Then we start going into my tarot resources. I also want to mention that one of my favorite all-time artists. So this is really not technically a resource, like a proper resource, but Basquiat is... I just looked at his stuff for hours and hours and hours, and check it out. It just was so authentic and ahead of his time. He was an addict, and he died of an overdose, and like the confluence of art, fame, addiction, talent, and genius all come together in Basquiat. And, they would give him a bunch of drugs, and they would lock him in a warehouse and say, we better have 25 paintings in 3 days. And they would just take the paintings, and he had shows all over the world. In like 3 years, he had some like 300 shows, and they just burnt him out, and they took his stuff. And he just was like sitting in this warehouse, and they would lock the door. The rumor is, here's all your drugs. They would bring all the heroin and cocaine and alcohol you need. Here's a bunch of food. Go and paint. And then they would come and get it and just like ship it off to Paris or whatever. It's just, so I don't know. It's a sad story, and it's a story of, like I said, talent, addiction, commerce, and fame, and really the toxic side of fame. So that was late 80s, and he was a contemporary of Andy Warhol. So although it's not technically one of my resources, it is something that influenced me. So now we're getting to basic tarot things. Okay, so here's my tarot resources. How are we on time? 29 minutes. So 20 through 28. The first one is if you want to do a deep dive, a deep dive. There's 3 tarot encyclopedias. They're huge. They're hardbound. They cost about $75, maybe even $100 each. But if you really hardcore, this is basic like reference material, and it's just like you could spend the rest of your life reading this book and still not get through it. And there's 3 of them. I think I have 2 of them around here, and the other one I kind of just like let it go. I don't know why, but yep, Stuart R. Kaplan. The fascinating story of tarot from its mysterious origins to the present. Over 3,200 different tarot cards from over 250 tarot decks, many of which have never been published before. So you want a deep dive? You want to know something about the tarot? It's in here. And there's 3 of those mofos. Okay, my next one is... this one. This is Alan Oken, the tarot book. I've had this book almost 40 years. Definitely. Thanks for joining. We're talking about my top 25 plus resources: psychic, spiritual, and tarot, and inspirational. So believe it or not, there's a lot of books. There's an uncountable number of books on the tarot, but this Alan Oken book is really about the best book I've ever seen. And especially if you're a newbie or a beginner, you can see it's falling apart. I've had it almost as long as I've been reading tarot cards, for 35 years. I couldn't speak highly enough of this book. Get it, put it in your library. If you only had one book on the tarot, it would be this one. Because the little white books, they're like this big and you can't read them. A book comes usually with every tarot deck, but some of them are like, it's called a little white book, and it's that big, and it's just a cheap ass book, and you can't read it. So, Pocket Guide to the Tarot, Alan Oken, 2 thumbs up. What else should we got? Okay, I got 2 books here that I don't know if I'm recommending. I haven't thrown them away, but also tarot resources. So let's show the Instagram. Here's the Tarot Bible, and then the Tarot by David Fontana. And they're nice books. They're nicely published books. They have a lot of information. If you're new, you might want to get one of these. This is the David Fontana book, and it's on Amazon. And then here's the Tarot Bible, and I don't know why, by Sarah Bartlett. I don't know why I don't throw this away, because I kind of have a problem with a lot of her interpretations. She seems to kind of be like bitter, kind of like a bitter bitch. And even like the auspicious cards that are like really good, she just turns into like a bad thing. Like there's 2 paragraphs of, how awesome the card is and what it means. See if you can see that. But then she just like goes, and then on the other hand, and this like undealt with resentment shows up. And it's just weird. And also I kind of have a little resentment because, who is she to say she's going to write the Tarot Bible? It's a pretty arrogant thing to say, I'm writing the Tarot Bible. Tarot has been around since the 1300s, and she's not even a tarot person. She's an astrologer. So I do have a couple problems with this, so be wary. I wouldn't recommend it. I also don't throw it away, but it's around if you're a tarot person and you just want more layers on your practice. So here's another book. So that's we're at 28 books. The Secret Language of Symbols: A Visual Key to Symbols and Their Meanings. It's also by David Fontana. Okay, so this is a great book, and I've had this book probably 20 or 25 years. It's a beautiful book, and it's like one of those coffee table books that you could just kind of like look through in the afternoon when you're looking through books. It's raining, you have some tea, and you just kind of catch up on your symbolism. It's a very nicely laid out book. It's a very thoughtful book. It approaches the subjects with humility and grace, and I couldn't recommend this book enough. Secret Language of Symbols by David Fontana. The next one is just kind of a personal book that I read when I was in my 20s. The Thief's Journal by Genet. And Genet was, his mother was a prostitute. He started stealing. This is like in France, in Paris, in the like 1920s and 30s. And Genet is a French poet, and he's also gay. And he writes poetry about stealing and poetry about life. And the translations are really nice. The Thief's Journal really expanded my personal psychic self when I was, in my 20s. I was like, wow, Genet is like this total criminal, this rough cut. He falls in love with this guy in jail, and so he gets arrested to go to be with his lover, and it's some of the most beautiful poetry and some of the most beautiful ideas and words, and just a beautiful soul by somebody who was given nothing in life, like nothing, and took the shit of life that he was handed, a bad deck, a bad hand, and he just turned it into pure gold. So the Thief's Journal is unbelievably inspiring. Where's the Chemical Wedding? Now, here's a really obscure one. We're getting down to the wire. We're almost getting ready to wrap it up. You're an alchemist and you want to know the secrets of the universe. Here's a book that you're probably not going to find. You might find. Now, a lot of these you can subscribe to a website. Like I subscribe to Scribed, and you pay $9 a month, and you can get unlimited downloads of really obscure, arcane, esoteric stuff. So if you're into witchy, magic, grimoires, esoteric text, ancient text, arcane text, obscure text, you would want to get one of those. But I recommend Scribed, and it's $9 a month, and you get unlimited downloads. And so I'm gonna guess this book would be on there. I don't know if it's on Amazon. So this is about alchemy, and it was written in 1690, and it's called The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreutz. So if you really want to know what this book and all the secrets of the universe and the Emerald Tablet and Nicholas Flamel and immortality, I had to go out of my way to find this. It took me about 10 years to get a copy of this. So I'm not going to say anything else about it, but it's about a wedding, and it's about alchemy, ancient alchemy. Okay. Let's see. Chemical Wedding. Okay. A book that I don't have a copy of, but you'll find it easily on Amazon. It's called Seth, S-E-T-H, Speaks. Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. My first psychic spiritual teacher told me, I was a trance medium psychic. I was born with all psychic gifts. I didn't know what the hell that meant. I was 24 years old. And she said, get this book called Seth Speaks. It was written in the 70s, and it's about how a person starts getting into mediumship and being a channel and a medium for this entity, Seth. So I would that would be an old school deep dive on, 70s magic, 70s mediumship. Okay. Wow, did we get through it all? Okay, I got 2 books left, and then we're done. So yeah, the full video is going to be on YouTube. I'll also put it on Instagram. So here's, my name is Kirk Kerber, and I'm your shaman, brujo, magic man, healer, master healer, who also happens to be psychic. And I've been reading the tarot cards now for 35 years. Yep, and giving readings. So here's one that I actually got. It's a tarot resource. And let me see, The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot, Johannes Fieberg and Evelyn Berger. I'm going to guess they're German. And so you get a breakdown, a perfect, unbelievable, in-depth, deep dive on every single thing and all the symbolism in the tarot. I use it as a reference. A lot of times I'll show when I'm teaching people the tarot, I'll pull this book out. Excellent resource. Couldn't recommend it enough. Totally happy with it. I think I've had it around 20 years so far. And finally, our last one. Wow, we got it all in. Is Tarot. Tarot and the Journey of the Hero. And this book is like unbelievably obscure. It's this German mystic and tarot reader. So tarot is his first love. He's got a couple other books. Hajo Banzhaf, if you can see that. Hajo Banzhaf. And I've had this book 30 years. This book is, I can't even hardly believe that somebody went through the major arcana like this and tells you the whole human backstory of the archetypes, the symbols, what it means, why it's here, what this is, what that is. And it's really in depth, but it's also really short, clear, and concise. And this guy really did his homework. And this is probably one of the most impressive books. And I would never let go of this in 100 years. If you really want to become like, there's people that read tarot cards, there's people that have psychic ability, and then there's like a psychic. Then there's like a reader. You're the incarnation of that thing. Go for this. This is where you should really start. And it's basically upper arcana, but also tarot in a general sense. So, Shakti Namaste. Thank you for watching on the Instagram, on the YouTube. Those are your top 25 plus resources and books, psychic and spiritual content, and tarot resources as well. And look for my videos or say hi on Instagram. And I'll see you guys next time in the Cyber Temple of Love. Shakti Namaste. Wishing you infinite amounts of love in every reality. And now, yes. Oops. Shakti Namaste. Thanks for watching, guys. At your request, Shakti.